Today I'm making a whimsical green madhatter cake inspired by Alice in Wonderland theme. So I'm gonna show you how to make that cake, complete with the playing cards, the pocket watch, also the golden ribbon around it. So let's get into it. So I'm starting with stacking the cakes layer by layer. I filled the sponge cake with Swiss meringue buttercream, and since the client asked for blueberries, I also added some blueberries in between the layers along with white chocolate ganache around the edges. So I had to do 5 layers of this vanilla sponge because the cake needed to be quite tall. The client wanted a madhatter top hat shape, and obviously the cake has to be quite tall, otherwise it wouldn't look like a hat. So I did 5 layers, and I trimmed the cake to make it look like a hat, and I inserted a dowel in the center as well to give the cake some stability. I trimmed the cake some more, and I started covering it with Swiss meringue buttercream on top and around the sides. After that, I added chocolate ganache over the whole cake to make it nice and firm. So the entire cake is covered with white chocolate ganache. Now here, I'm cutting the edible images of the Alice in Wonderland decorations that the client asked for. I prepared 2 playing cards, a pocket watch, and the name in the specific Alice in Wonderland font. For the watch, the client specifically asked for the time to show 7:45. I'm guessing that is when the birthday boy was born. So 7:45, I had to make the short and the long hands out of fondant. So here I'm cutting some floral wires for the pins. I wasn't too sure how the pin heads were supposed to look, but I googled it and I found some random shapes, so I just copied those from the pictures. Now I'm covering the cake in green fondant. Obviously the cake is quite tall and wider at the top, so it was a bit of a challenge to cover. I wasn't too worried though about how the bottom looked, since it will be covered with a fondant ribbon anyway. So I'm just trying to make it as tidy as I had to. I did a pretty good job for covering this cake in green fondant. So now I'm placing the cake onto the board and adding another piece of green fondant around the base to create the brim of the hat. So I just stuck it on and tried to make it look neat. I wanted the brim to lift up a little and look more natural, so I tucked some tissues underneath just to help hold the shape. Now here I painted all the pins and the pocket watch using edible gold paint. I mixed gold luster dust with cake alcohol. Now Now, the green fondant that I used to cover the cake wasn't quite the right shade I wanted, so I added a bit of yellowish and moss green gel color. I used my airbrush machine to get the look I was going for, and I think it turned out more natural. Here, I tried to make the fondant ribbon. The easiest way to do this is to place 3 chopsticks underneath a piece of fondant. So you will see the creases it creates. Just cut the sides and pinch the 2 ends and then stick it onto the cake. As you can see, the ribbon wasn't long enough, so I just made another piece of ribbon and join it together. So just try to make it as neat as you can. I also added some glue, Talos glue on the creases to stick it better. My client also wanted some gold prints or textures on the head, so I used buttercream mixed with a bit of gold paint, and I dipped a piece of cling wrap into the buttercream and dabbed it lightly onto the cake. And here I painted the ribbons with edible gold paint. For the final touches, I added all the decorations, the pocket watch, the cards, the name on top, and the gold pins. I also added a few extra decorations to help cover some of the joints and imperfections at the base of the cake. And I also added this small red rose because Alice in Wonderland has the red rose as one of its iconic symbols. So I used it to cover the joint of the ribbon. There you go. My client was really happy with how it turned out. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.